Well, hello, good evening and welcome. Nobody in at the moment, so we'll see where this goes. Woo! Woo! Wait around while anybody gets in that's coming in. The grand total and none as yet, but it's only just gone 8, so we're on the nail pretty much this weekend. Plus, I've not gone up for a couple of weekends, so people might not know I'm here. They've not got crystal balls, man. That's what I'm saying. Hello, Mick's in the house. We've got somebody here at last. How we doing, buddy? Going good? Have we been at the bench? Good, good. Did you get to the bench, Mick? Cool, excellent. I've done my video and I'm saving it at the moment to my videos, and then I can upload to YouTube. But the video's all done and dusted. I've done the little 040. Cool, yeah, do that, Mick. Be good to see. Love to see your builds. Do some good stuff. You certainly get them out quick as well. I were never that quick. Yeah, you manage them rapid, Mick. I like the transporters you did. They were good. No, you do well. You do well. I usually have thumbprints in them and everything. I painted. I did some painting on this one today, and I went over it about 2 or 3 times because I put thumbprints in. No way, it's not. It ain't worth growing up. You can get older, but you don't have to grow up, Mick. It ain't compulsory. Yeah, I'm still about 10 in my head, I think, for stuff I like doing. Although I'll be honest, I've stopped putting straws up frogs' bums nowadays. Stopped that when I were a very young lad, actually. Incredibly cruel. But where I lived, there were plenty of frogs anyway. Oh, you don't want to know, mate. It was a very old thing and it was very cruel, extraordinary cruel. I wouldn't dream of doing shit like that as an adult. But as a kid, it was hilarious. Stick a straw up a frog's bum and blow. Yeah, unlucky frog. At least we weren't. Oh, man. Yeah, it weren't the kind that enjoyed, Mick. certainly had bulgier eyes than normal. Oh, hey, up, we just lost one out of room. Must have been too hot to act up. Never mind. I'm a bad influence on everyone, mate. Yeah, so it's not been a bad day today. It's a weird one, the one I've done. I don't know whether quartering's not quite spot on when I've set wheels on it, or whether it just makes that noise anyway. But it actually sounds like a steam train and is as it's going round the layout. So it's quite a nice build. Makes me laugh on eBay when they put them on. They put one on, there's a few on, but there were one in particular. They put rare. I don't think they actually enter in what they're selling on eBay. Because they put rare, then underneath there's about 10 more. Yeah, it's proper rare. It's old and not as plentiful as some, but it's not rare. Yeah, that's a classic line, mate. I know what I've got. Well, you clearly don't, because it ain't rare. There's loads of them around. I've yet to see one of them called Smoky Joe rare, but I bet one of them will, and Armby is still selling that, yeah. And they've made it since the 80s, and it's still in the catalogue, yeah. So there's plenty of them around. Oh, that's not an actual Smoky Joe there. It was the train set I did the other week. That was a Smoky Joe Mick. Plenty of them. Absolutely shed loads. It's got me wondering now who the second one that's in. Because we've got two. I think they're just staying in the background. I wonder if it's Shedmouth just looking in. The one I laughed at, Mick, was that guy. He's a TV antiques expert. Well, I call him a tosser. He's not a clue what he's on about. And he's talking about Matchbox cars, and he's got a job lot he's bought off eBay, and he said, I paid about £20 for this, and this one's worth this one's worth that. I'll make a fortune on it. No, you won't, only unless you're selling to gullible mugs. Because it ain't worth jack shit what you paid for it. Oh, he was just a total arsehole, Mick. Excuse me, French. But he was one of the presenters off a TV antiques programme, and he didn't have a clue what he was talking about. Never attended a toy fair, he's just seen the word Matchbox, and because he's seen somebody sell a Matchbox, a rare one, that's boxed for about £1,000. He thinks they're all worth that. Yeah, total donkey were. He says, I'll put them in my shops and I'll sell them for that. No, you won't. The only reason you'll sell it for that money is because somebody who knows no better is paying me that much because he's buying it off a TV personality. That's all they're paying him that much money for. If he were Joe Bloggs in a normal antique shop, he wouldn't sell it for them prices. Because people ain't totally stupid. But at the end of the day, even if they buy it off him, there's no provenance with it that it's been his. Like all you have at end of day is an old knackered matchbox car. He was selling the Mustang. He was saying he had a Mustang, the Matchbox Mustang. And it was the early one with the chrome wheels and clip-on black tyres and the steering as well he'd had on it. And he said, oh, I'll get £20 for that. He didn't have a bit of paint left on it. It had a pillar missing. No tyres. I thought I'd give you £2. Yeah, yeah. I always do. Because some of them, they have silly prices, make some. Absolutely outrageous prices. Like that one the other week. Where is it? That one I bought down Coventry. That loco. It's a train set, only loco. And I got it for £35. I didn't argue at price because it's nice condition. And it was a decent price. If I were buying that on eBay, they were asking 60 and 70 quid. And then postage on top. So by the time I'd finished, he was going to end up 75, 80 quid. So I thought 35, I'm not arguing with him. Yeah, exactly. Get silly. I do pay a bit occasionally for locals, a bit more, but once you start getting over the 50 quid mark, it's silly. And if they have DCC and sound and everything, I'd go up to 150, 200, but I'm not going any more than that. Yeah, it wasn't bad prices, Coventry. Mick, not bad at all. It was good. I just enjoyed it as a day out for a change, really. I didn't have anything I were after. I just went for a mooch and a day out. Nice day out. Yeah, I enjoyed watching. Oddly enough, I enjoyed watching the dogs as well. Yeah, definitely. They were a fantastic weekend, mate. Fantastic, chilled. What I needed actually, because work yesterday. I'm not even going there. It was just a nightmare. I don't think it'll be any better this week. Oh God, yeah, Mick. But yeah, definitely need a break every now and again, especially nowadays. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed the. Believe it or not, I loved Chinatown. Absolutely loved it. That was my favourite part of it. I could do a week there, I think. And that's unusual for me with a city. Could definitely do a week exploring because I didn't really get a chance for a walk down the canal and check out like they have bars on the side of the canal. and stuff, and I like to have gone for a mooch to one of them and chilled outside, see if any canal boats went past, and just what, like chilling out, isn't it? It's just watching life go past. Watch people mooching. Yeah, definitely enjoyed it though. We're up to 4. Is anyone else talking? Oh, for sure, mate. Watch the world go by. I can do that, good. It's when they ask me to participate, it gets tricky. So, well, most of the time I do, but sometimes I don't do people well. I find I'm getting less tolerant as I get older. Good evening, Vallis. How you doing, buddy? Or having a quick look at your channel the other day again. Having a look at some of your locals and stuff. Because I'm going to have a video coming up. Where have I put it? There we go. Hang on just a minute. Because, Vallis, I'm going to be doing one of them. Hang on. Reel it in a bit. That's better. You can see it a bit better like that. It's not too good on that camera. But yeah. I'm going to be doing one of them. I'm going to be putting a CD up. Yeah, I think so. Vallis. It's a lemur. You know more about this than I do. It's the lemur and it's actually got 55. So I don't know. It's definitely a prairie tank, isn't it? Yeah, so I may get some plates for it from Fox. And I'm putting a CD motor in it. Yeah, it's a nice old thing. I think a CD motor will improve it, and I may put a firebox light in, although there's no cab detail. But I was thinking of putting sound in it, but you're limited because of the weight in it and the motor. You're limited where you could put a speaker and the actual decoder. Yeah, it has got a sloping tank. Like I say, you'll be no more. Start again. You'll be more knowledgeable than me, Vallis. I think all I do with Great Western locals is King, Castle, Manor, Pannier Tank. Like, I think that's about my knowledge. I think I've exhausted it. Oh, 14XX, which was on Titfield Thunderbolt. So that's another one I know. It's actually, unless you know it and you look at it, chapter and verse, to the layman, it's a pretty complex numbering thing Great Western used, isn't it? Because some locals that look very much similar, they have totally different numbering. Yeah, they're very snug with all the other stuff that's inside. They're very snug valleys. Yeah, I have noticed the numbering system. It must have made sense to someone. Cool. Who's playing in the rugby, Andy? I've not had a look. Yeah, not had a look. Who's playing today? I believe Wales lost the other day. Sorry, Valleys. I just did. I'm sorry. It was to New Zealand, though, wasn't it, Valleys? Were you playing New Zealand? Or have I got it mixed up with something else? Argentina. Oh, Jesus, that's even worse. Lost to Argentina. Never live it down. Right. I think what I was watching was I saw a bit of the New Zealand women doing the haka. Jesus, they're more frightening than the blokes. And I think it was them that were against Wales. Oh, cool. England's got through. France versus South Africa. Well, I'd be shouting for the Springboks. Oh, I know they're our neighbours, France, but I'll shout for the Springboks first. Yeah, it could be interesting. It's a while now, really, since we won it last, didn't it, with Johnny Wilkinson? What year was that? It was early 2000s, I think, if I remember rightly. Can't remember year exactly, but it were early 2000s in my dim and distant memory. It were a good match, that as well. I enjoyed that match watching. I'm not normally a rugby fan, but I enjoyed that one. I'll just watch occasional bits and stuff because I'm more motorsports really, and even that I don't follow that much nowadays. We've got somebody else just popped in, Marlo. See if they say hi. You know, I went Silverstone Valleys a couple of years ago, and I think the last time it was actually entertaining was when Senna was still driving and stuff like that. Senna, Mansell, and Hamilton's. He's done amazing stuff in Formula One. I'm an Hamilton hater, but I can't dispute he's done amazing stuff. But would he have done it if you'd put him in a car like Senna had to drive without all the driver aids on? Doubt it. Doubt he'd be anywhere near Senna's class. Yeah, the more they like putting. I mean, it's good in a way that it's safer for the drivers. But the more they're making it safer, the less entertaining it is for the fans. I was talking to a fan that used to go there in old days, he says. He says, when I used to come, first started coming, he said, there were none of these fences, he said. You were sat on side of track, nothing in front of you. And he said it were entertaining. But now they made it so diluted. Yeah, I'd agree with that, Andy. Sounds good. Yeah, South Africa's always in running. England is, but England always seem to be bridesmaid and never the bride. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, Valleys. I'd have loved to have seen Matt and Fangio. I'd have loved to have been old enough to go and watch bloody James Hunt. James Hunt, and I'd have loved to have seen Mansell. Mansell's one that doesn't get mentioned a lot, and Mansell did a hell of a lot back in the day. He's a very underrated driver that doesn't get mentioned for others. He held all sorts of records. I think Mansell still holds some of the records. I think he still holds record for pole positions, unless Lewis has got it nowadays. But one season, I think Mansell pretty much did a full season, and most of the races were off pole. Yeah, Mansell he's very, very underrated. If you look back at the stats and what Mansell did, he was an outstanding driver. Like his wins and his pole positions. And now, lap times, if you look back at some of them, he was outstanding for a Manx copper. Yeah. Yeah, he was good. Very, very good. Like, it's funny, I used to love Hill back in the day, but I couldn't take to his son, Damon. He was nowhere near as good a driver as his dad, though. Damon, nowhere near his quality. I think the money was there, but the talent wasn't. Well, the money and name, but the talent wasn't. He did some. It's like Button and stuff. They rave about Button because he's British and stuff, but he's done very little compared to others. Well, compared to others that don't get shouted about. That's it, the car's all computerised. It's not necessarily the best driver nowadays. It can come down to the best software. Yeah, it's a weird old game now, Formula One. Certainly not as interesting as back in the day. They're not the heroes they used to be. Like Senna, they threw a car about that much. Senna, you could watch him and you used to think, how the hell did he get round that corner? You could have sworn he went through the barrier. He obviously didn't, but he was that close and throwing the car about. You could have sworn he went through the barrier to get round. Like you just watched, man. You just watched him, and his car were bouncing around everywhere he had it on the limit. Well, he didn't just have it on the limit; he pushed it past the limit and then snatched it back. Ah, fantastic. Well, I've got a week off work coming up, and I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish my boards off on my layout. Finish them off, and then I'll see if I can fit my planned project on. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. There's going to have to be some jiggery pokery, and if I do manage it, some compression of the idea I have, but hopefully I'll manage to fit it on. If I don't get to where I want to be with it, I'll do something else. I'll come up with something else, create probably a made up idea. So I can, main thing is have somewhere scenic run my trains. Yeah, it can do. Well, I want to make the area I worked in and just one stretch between bridges I want to make. But my complication lies in that I could do with a foot of extra width on, because I want 4 continuous lines going round. And I want all the crossovers and everything outside the signal box I worked at, I should say. And I want the sidings that were in front of, only a small sidings, it's only a 1 lane, going into 2 lanes sidings under the bridge, but it makes it 6 lines. What I want to do, I want to, if you will, at the front of the board, curve it round, because it were a gradual curve. Now, to do that, I'll have to make it like a doggy bone at the front. The curves coming out, then tuck in and go out. You get what I mean? Yeah, so I'll have to make it like a doggy bone idea at the front. Yeah, and it's true. The old school had a different mentality, and when you put it into context, if you've been being shot at, tanks firing near you, and stuff like that, racing driving's perfectly safe. But geez, you used to watch them old drivers when they crashed. No seat belts, no head protection really. About all it did was keep you a little bit warmer and a little bit drier. There were no crash protection in them helmets, which made no difference because they had no seatbelt anyway. So as soon as any crash that involved any sting in it, they were thrown out of the car anyway. Well, yeah, the goggles did, but they had the risk. The actual eyes were glass. So if you had a crash or a storm were thrown up and you were unlucky enough for it to hit the goggles, you had glass in your eyes anyway. But yeah, they were a different breed. Not like the lids we have for bikes and motorsports now. I've got mine now. I hung up here. I've got me, what's it called off telly? Oh, let me think. Martin. What's his first name? Martin, the one that does all the programs, inventing, building different bikes and cars. I have his replica helmet. Guy Martin. Why couldn't I think of that? I'm getting Alzheimer's. I have my AGV Guy Martin replica. I've got my Saltire Scott's helmet somewhere. I've got another red, white. Oh, I've got two red, white, and blue. One somewhere. So I've got 4 lids in all I used to use. I couldn't use the Guy Martin replica one after crash because I dinged it. Yeah, Paul, I had an old Triumph Herald because I used to restore and drive old Triumph Heralds. And I put an air on that. Dual pipes. Oh, no, sorry, it weren't. It was one of the old style bullhorns or whatever they are. I had 2 of them. But geez, it were noisy. I did put air-ons on. I had a compressor. So yeah, I did have air-ons on my car. My Herald. Yeah, it were noisy. Oh yeah, it is. Well, me with glasses on and everything on my bike. As soon as it rains, I'm steaming up, so I have to flick visor up. The worst one I've ever had was I were doing about 70 down motorway and I hit an hailstone shower. That stang. That definitely did sting a bit. Let's put it this way, I weren't doing 70 a few seconds later. I were doing more like 50 and with visor down. Weren't half noisy as well, hailstorm on a motorbike. When you hit it at 70, it is noisy. But yeah, and air-ons on car, they are fun. The big locomotive ones, the problem with that is, I think you'd need a big battery to power it. I'm guessing you'd need about a 24-volt battery. Because it'll be similar to the horns they have on cars. So I guess about 24-volt. And you probably need the ampage as well. The cold cranking amp, so it gives it bang. Because the thing is, with air on it, you have to power the compressor and power it up first. So to be any good for an air on, it has to kick in really quick as soon as you press the button. So you have to have a battery that'll really kick the arse of the compressor to power the air on. But yeah, they are damn good locos or truck ones. It'd certainly make them jump and drop the shopping on us the car park. That's the sort of shit I'd use it for. But yeah, so what's everybody been up to at weekend? Have we been building or running or... I'll nip out for it, but the video's loading yet. Shouldn't be too long before video's up. Just have a look where we are. Oh, it's completed. I can if I want. Start loading it to YouTube. I'll just open another window and start loading it up to YouTube. Unfortunately, it was a big ask because I went down Coventry a few weeks ago for a toy fair with a friend and spent weekend in Birmingham, so I've spent money at the moment because I went to toy fair and got a few things and had weekend away. So I'm catching up. I'm putting money back in for my overdraft I used. Well, ironically, I didn't use my overdraft last month. I've used it this month after. But yeah, I'm just topping up my finances again. But yeah, I'd have liked to have gone, don't get me wrong. I bet it's a fantastic show. Do bet it's an awesome show. Excuse me a minute. I'm still chatting as much as I can, but I'm starting to upload a video onto YouTube. Upload my latest. See where that takes us. There we go. Can't beat the old Lima warships, Valley. I've got one in my stash for doing for my channel. In fact, I might have a go at that next. I might have a go at that fairly recent. I've got a Lima warship and a Lima Western to do. I bought the name and number plates for both of them. I forget what the names are now, but they'll be renamed new number plates on them and everything. But the Lima Western, it has the normal problem where the steps have been broken off the front. So what I've done, I've bought a couple of the Army clip-on ones, and I'm going to cut them down and mount them onto the Lima body. I'll probably need a bit of filler and stuff, maybe a bit of plastic card, and I may put some metal behind them to brace them. Something like brass. Well, I've got brass sheets up here. I've got some brass sheets here for making brushes for a model I've got here. The actual size of brushes, I can't find them anywhere. So I'll have to make my own carbon brushes for it. They're similar to a triangle idea, but longer. So yeah, that'll keep me out of trouble for a bit. Because I've also bought carbon brushes that are meant for a drill. I'm going to cut it down to the size I require and use them. It'll keep me out of trouble, I guess. Yeah, well, I've used it this week because on the lemur I'm doing. Where is it? Come here. The lemur I'm doing, the actual one that were on it, I took it out and I tried bending it, and it's spring steel and it was brittle, and it actually snapped. So it holds the gear in there. So I've made me own. I've not finished yet. I've still to hammer a dot into it so it goes over the axle, and Bob's your auntie, I'd say, it'll load it in. Then I'm putting the CD motor into it. I bought a CD motor conversion kit for it. Yeah, I'm doing another layout video, Mick, when I start. I'll have to get on to my mate this week to make them brackets for me, if he can, so they're ready for week after. I only need 4 of them. He'll buzz them off at work because he's an engineer. Get them made out of what? About that sort of gauge steel. Get 4. Have them about a year long, and have 4 bolts in one side, 4 bolts in the other side, so I can drill through and bolt the ends together in line. Just that are in line and make some sturdy, you know. Because with steel, it won't be going anywhere once you're bolted up to join the sections together. It won't go anywhere, and it'll be... I'll get a clamp for lining it up or whatever. Yeah, so should be nice. I'll definitely have a layout video though coming up, Mick. It's working out how to fit what I want on it that's going to be. Yeah, I thought about that in middle, but I want to be able to... I want it a bit stronger, really, with brackets, fellas, because I want to be able to pull it away from my wall at times and get behind it for track cleaning. Although I have discovered I have made a track cleaner that seems to work. I've got the Armby one, the one on the carriage, and it has the spring-loaded skis underneath. I glued some sandpaper to the bottom of it on them skis, well, emery paper. And then once it's done with that, gone round a few times with that, I've got J-cloths I cut up in bits, and I put it over the top of the emery cloth and put meths on and run it a few times with the meths on so it gets rid of the oils and dirt. Yeah, I have a track rubber, but I used to use it, but half the time track rubbers, it doesn't so much take the dirt off as shift it round. Because once you've used it a few times, the track rubber's filthy. It gets all the track dirt in it. So what I've found is do it first with a paper, then I run that with the J-cloth underneath, soaked in meths, and it takes the oil and the dirt off. Like I'll put it on one, I'll cut a square of it about that size, just over the gauge of your tracks, put it underneath it onto the sandpaper, drop meths on, I'll run it round a few times one way, then I'll take the J cloth off, flick it 90 degrees, put it back on, put more meths on, run it round a few more times. Made it awesome. I bought an old Hornby 29, and I got it. I thought it should be running well, this, and it were always running awkward when it got to the back straight. So I did that with it, run it round a few times with wet and dry or whatever, then run the one with J cloth and meths round a few times. And Bob's your auntie, it started running beautiful. It were more the track's fault than the walkers. But the weird thing is, you'd think it'd be all walkers that'd run crap if your track were dirty, but it isn't the case. Some walkers, it makes no difference to, and other walkers run awful. Yet they're all going over the same track. It's weird. I don't know what to make of it. That's like the other day that I found a lump of plasticine on my doorstep. I didn't know what to make of it, you know. Dear, I'll get me hat and coat. Yeah, but that's what I want to do, really, Valleys. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Some will just continue running over anything, and others that you think could, yeah, plasticine, and others that you think would run over it don't. It's an odd old thing. Like that Hornby 29. Just a simple Ringfield motor and Hornby 20. You'd have thought that had run over anything. And that were the one that was stopping. It were worse running, yet ones you think would be finicky just kept running. It's weird. But yeah, I'm buying in scenics and stuff gradually as well, ready for it. Although I'm going to be buying in a lot of, plastic card with the embossed brickwork on and that for making me buildings. Because most of my buildings, we're one in a particular building, they're going to be scratch built, most of them. Yeah, enjoyable. What were I looking at the other day? Oh, somebody had done a yard with plastic, blah, blah, blah. I think it was Will's plastic card and cobbles from the floor. And it looked good, but you could see where all the cards were laid out and the actual sets that were in, they didn't line up. And I thought, for getting a look like that, what I'd have done, I'd have got a bag full of lentils and glued all the lentils on and made it like, because you can put lines down in the sets, but you can put more common sense ones, you can put curves in. Like I saw it done by 1/35th scale modeler. But I should imagine lentils would transfer to 1/76, especially for cobblestones. Oh no. Well, I already have a load because I do like dioramas for modelling, so I already have a box of scenics. And I don't know whether any of you have seen it, but if you look in my videos for Kodak Corner, I just made a little bit of a corner layout with an engine shed on it and track and stuff. And I made it just to photograph locals on and stuff and play with photography with it. You know, it's an argument that making it isn't. See, a lot of people go, I've got lack of space for a layout. And it can be a good thing, lack of space, because you can still do a layout. You can make very small layouts, but then your concentration can all go into making the scenics and buildings and everything absolutely spot knacker on. Like, the less you have to do, like, because if you think about it, when you're filling up space on a big layout, like, you just want to get it done, and sometimes you haven't the required patience to do what needs doing to make it look right. Whereas on a small one, if you can sit down in a couple of evenings and do scenics and have it looking absolutely award winning. So I've never really bought space as an argument because, like, you can make an ingle nut shunting layout, or some are even doing. It's only little layouts, and they don't have the scope of big layouts, but you can still do good stuff with them. In fact, some of the nicest ones, scenery wise, I've seen, have been the smaller ones. There's some good ones, large ones, like, don't get me wrong, but a lot of small layouts have some cracking ideas. Yeah, you can be valid because it gives you. The thing is, with an ingle nook, it gives you a challenge for actually doing something, and you can make them very scenic and everything. A lot of people don't bother, but you can make an ingle nook very scenic. And they're not big layouts, so I'm actually playing with the idea of, as well as me layout on building, I've got some wood left over and stuff, and I'm thinking of doing a micro layout with it, so I can do some scenics and stuff. In fact, to be honest, I could make another small layout. I've got a roundhouse and a turntable I want to use, but I've got a load of American Engage stuff. I'd like to make a American Preservation Society with old locos and a roundhouse and turntable and just a yard with some wagons. I've got a couple of old locos, few wagons. I've got some track cheeky little fly right on my nose then. Little fruit fly. Yeah, I've got points and track, I've got a few wagons, I've got buildings. Like, could make something quite nice in it. Something basic, but nice. I have played with the idea if I haven't got enough room to do what I want to on this baseboard with double O. I may sell some of my double O watt and do it in N, because I really want to do me old round. It may give me better scope, I don't know. It may happen yet, but yeah, it's fantastic. I'll be running. I've got loads of American HO. There's one I have to. Well, hang on, got something stuck on it. There's one I have to stamp. There's one I have to sort out for starters. Yep, Pennsylvania. Quite a nice loco. Can sort tanks out for it and stuff. It'll be nice. Well, that's a Pennsylvania railroad. Oh, hang on. I've got some chisel here causing problems. Just give me a minute. And that's another one I've just done. The Northern Pacific. That's just been causing me paintbrushes to fall over. Oh! Oh, bloody hell, you. Every time I hear the word bogies, my mind just goes back to Dick and Dom. Yeah, Dick and Dom on Saturday morning. Used to tickle me, that bogies. I'll enlighten you if I don't know what they used to do. They used to go in to quiet places like libraries, etc., and museums. They made it like tennis. Yeah, that's it. Nice. In the bungalow it was. And they start want to go quiet. Bogies. Then the next one to go, bogies. Trying to trouble. And they get louder and louder till they were shouting. And they do it till they were either thrown out of the museum or library. Used to kill me. Because then they were giggling like schoolgirls while they were doing it. I do miss them, Dick and Dom. They were funny. It was always worth watching. Cat as well. You've never heard out of her since then, have you? Cat Dealer. Never seen out of her on telly. Mind you, having said that, you didn't see out of Sally James after this was. Who's fisc? I'm follically challenged. What do you mean by fiscally challenged, Mick? Follically challenged, a polite way of saying bald. Yeah, my best mate at work's gonna. Well, not my best mate, but one I love having around. I'm gonna miss. It's not gonna be the same in work. He's leaving in a couple of weeks. Won't be the same. Yeah, he's a gay lad, and I have to say he's one of the funniest lads I've ever worked with. You're never bored at work. It's gonna be a quieter and more boring place. All although the appropriateness levels will go up. We'll get less chance of being in HR, put it that way. Like, although I've been done for swearing twice in as many weeks. It's so can you start using more appropriate language? Yeah, whatever. I don't I don't swear when I'm not here. Do your own deductions. Well, when I say I don't swear, picking his pockets. Oh, Jesus. I have a coach I want to restore. That's down here somewhere. An old one. God knows where it is. There we go. Ironically, I modelled the BR blue and blue grey period, and that one's going back into maroon. I think I'll put it into LMS because I want something for me LMS locals. I want to do an LMS Ginty. I need to go with Ginty. It's a suburban coach, so you go with like a Ginty push pull idea. The push pull side of thing. Are you still on that fucking island? Yeah. Fat ass drink girls. Ah, he's one of us, Mick. He's one of us. Well, what you have to do, you have to drive. He said, I was watching this film, and what it was, they had to drive down the road at a certain speed, and if they dropped below that speed for a certain amount of time and they didn't keep up with that speed, and the speed were too low, a bomb would go off. I think it was called The Car That Couldn't Stop. Yeah, that one actually killed me, that, when he said so. I was watching the film and all the words were to like jet speed. And then he says, I think it was called The Car That Couldn't Stop. Feck off, cup. Sign up with Brick. I bet he's never heard it before. I don't believe it. Oh God. You know, it's such a class program. Ah, see you're racist now, Ted. The Chinese, a grand bunch of lads. Is that Greeks or geeks? Can't insult the Greeks to me. I used to work with a Greek woman. Oh, what a gorgeous woman. She was a goddess. Lovely personality as well. Huge knockers. She was Greek. Oh, she was. Oh, I'd have took her on. I told her, but she weren't interested. Yeah, they did actually. It were a great thing. It were. That's one thing I can't agree with him with. What was that actually today? That Mick Snickers changed from marathon. Ice Age ended. What, the film or the actual Ice Age? How can you put a particular day on the Ice Age ending? I'd have imagined it were a gradual thaw. Was there a particular day when they went, right, Monday, 25th of April? Oh, right, I get you now, yeah. I remember it. That's it. That's what tickles you even more, Ice Age ending. It wouldn't be a particular day, it'd just be a grad. You couldn't even put that down to a particular year. Oh, brilliant. You know, the comedy minds on that, they were outstanding. Absolutely loved them. How they can think of that though, week for series, week after week and stuff, and still come up with new stuff. You know, I think one thing as well, and it was referenced on Father Ted, was there's a clip of it, you know, when he phones up, I'll just phone Bishop whoever or Father whoever, and he phones him up and that red Jaguar goes off the cliff. That piece of film has been used in a few films, and I'd love to know which film that were done for originally. But it's a red Mark II Jag that goes off a cliff, and it's used a few times in Father Ted for the clerk for when he rings up priests. You know, you'd look at the lines and they still make you chuckle. But that was my all-time favourite one. The Speed episode with the milk float. And Dougal says, I watched that film. And he goes through it and he's mentioning the word speed all the time. And then he goes, I know, he says, I think it was called the car that couldn't stop. But then they put the brick on the throttle. Oh, God. And when... Yeah, and I like it when they get out the car, move all the boxes, then drive through. High-speed pursuit. Oh, God. The people writing it and when they were actually filming it, they must have had an absolute... It can't be like work that, can it? Don't mention Cortina's valleys. I've had a few of them. I've done a lot of swearing at them in the years. Over the years. I got rid of the Vauxhall Viva that never let me down once, and I bought a Ford Cortina that hardly ever run. I hated it with a passion. I hated it that much I reversed it into a wall doing 30. Didn't do it a lot of good. Although on the bonus side, it fit in the garage after. What a car. What a car, Valleys. Beautiful thing. My friend was a Lotus specialist. Still has his own old garage and he still has his original early 70s Elan. Well, might be late 60s just. I can't remember what plate it's on. But he has an Elan. And he did have a Cortina Mark II, he fully restored. It was beautiful. And he sold it back in one of the 90s recessions. And he didn't get anything like what it were really worth. Because it was immaculate. He also sold one of them, you know, the baby lamb, the gold leaf ones. He sold one of them. Because he were a Lotus specialist. He had them 3 Lotuses in his... It's very true. Problem with Lotuses, Valleys, is they were essentially a kit car. They were a cracking idea, but to get the right performance and running out of them, they had to be right. And to have it right, you had to have Lotus backup, a Lotus mechanic, or like, they're just not summit. People buy them now and they think they can run them. You can't, because they're a finicky machine. All the engines have to be set up right. The chassis have to be set up right. Jeez, there's none of them left nowadays. Fiat Strada, those, I like them, the Strada. Remember them very well. I liked the Strada. They were a good looking car back in day. I learnt on a metro. I absolutely hate them. They were indeed round door handles. They were a nice design back in day, though. I did like Stradas. Things that always ruined Fiats were the rust and electrics. Oh, fantastic. Nice one. Yeah, it were only going to be a quick one to Lord Valleys. It's under 10 minutes. The cut-off point, if it to load it quick if you aim for under 10 minutes. But if you go over 10 minutes, it takes a while to load. Hey, I'll tell you what. Oh, no, I've put the title on, haven't I? I'll double check it. I'll have to go in and put the thumbnail on. That's better. Yeah, I'll have a look at that on thing after I'm just loading thumbnail up onto it. Just go and have a look. Unusual I have to do this, opening a third window for YouTube. Yeah, it's not loaded up as yet. I'll try and reduce the size of it. Yeah, try and reduce the size of it. And then put it back on. Just give me 1 second. Because I have a nice thumbnail for that. Even though I'd reduced the size, I think it's still a bit big. Pain in the ass editing Photoshop and everything. Only has to be that bit big for it, and it won't load your thumbnail. I thought I'd reduced it enough, because it only allows a certain size for thumbnail. Yeah, the weird thing is, if you print video, you can put a photograph on and not reduce it. Weird. Can't work it out, but there we go. Just waiting for my Photoshop to come up. Oh. There we go. Be back in the room in a bit, just doing some, well, it's very basic editing. I'm just reducing the size of my thumbnail. Resize, image size. try that. Ah, wait a minute. I think I'm getting why. Shut that down. It's probably not opening because it's open in another editing program. Let's have a look now. Yeah, we've got it loaded up. Super. Super duper. Right, back to on here. Oh no. No, what I do then, I have a video editing program and I have full Photoshop. So I use Photoshop, but I find out if I try and load it, you definitely won't load it as a thumbnail if it's full resolution. I have to drop it down to a really low resolution so it'll load up as a thumbnail. But as a photo, if I use it as a photo in the middle of the video, I can leave the resolution as is. Go figure. Why, I don't know, but that's the way it works. No money. That's me this month, mate. I'm avoiding spending till the end of the month. Well, not quite the end of the month. But are we going out getting that piece of what I need? Finish off me boards. And then I can get a move on starting the track up. I've already got some flexi track for some of the stuff I want. I've got a good few bits of flexi. I've got a Dremel for cutting down. I've been given, the other day, my mate gave me a battery drill. So I've got a cordless drill now. So I can use that on project. Saves it. You know the difference between plugging in and unplugging and the amount of time it saves you if you're doing stuff. Because at one time I plugged one thing in and say I needed me jigsaw, you'd unplug your drill, then you'd need your drill. So you'd unplug your jigsaw, plug your drill in, and you were just going backwards. And so the time it saves having a battery drill, I can have my jigsaw as a mains one. It just means I'm not swapping and changing all the time. Less chance I'll cut through a cable as well. Because let's be honest, we've all done it. One way or another, we've cut a cable. Anyway, what time we on? 21:29. I think for this week, I'm going to call it a day. I should be in next week because I think I'm on holiday next week. So I should be in. I might manage being in for 2 weeks. So we may have 2 weeks in a row. I may actually, instead of me fizzog, I may actually tilt the camera down. I'll find a way. I may make a modelling bench for going over the top of my keyboard. And I may, let's see if it'll do it. The camera will look down and I can do, I suppose I could do modelling. I suppose I could make something as we chat. Oh, fantastic. What, when you say Cardiff Shore Valleys, what's that about? Is it a Cardiff Model Railway show or a Cardiff Cultural Show or what is it? Speed. Speed. So, but yeah, that's an idea, do a modelling one. It's not really got good pick-up rates, but if you move, but hey-ho. Well, whatever, yeah, sounds good though. Is it usually big valleys rather? Is it usually a big one? But as I say, like with layouts, smallish isn't necessarily bad. You can have a big you can have a massive exhibition with crap stuff there. Or you can have a small exhibition with quality stuff. Size doesn't mean everything. What do you mean, like EF? Do you mean like EFE and original omnibus valleys? It isn't. I mean, I've only got a small one valleys, but I've got 22 stone to knock it in with. Oh, God, I'm a bad man. Ah, yeah, I get you now. There are some. Yeah, that's it, valleys. There's some I've got my eyes on at my local preservation society in Great Western Colours. I think the Lima that made them, the auto coaches, the ones with a bell on the front. like push-pull coaches, aren't they? I think they have a couple of them at my local preservation society. Quite nice detailed models. If it's like normal with me, I'll go for them and they'll be sold. But I do quite fancy them. They're a nice looking model. Really? Oh, it gets me every time. Oh, that's interesting. Ginties. So I'm guessing that would have been in the BR Black era. I'm guessing, because I don't think I've ever seen any ginties in Great Western colours. I may be corrected if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that'd put them down as BR Black then, wouldn't it, Valleys? They wouldn't be in Great Western colours because they changed over to, were it British Railways in 47? Yeah, it would have been early emblem because I think it was 47 they swapped over, didn't they? Yeah, there's some beautiful old models Airfix did. Mainline did. So the sad fact is Airfix and Mainline did some beautiful locomotives, and they're still good as modern standards go. For detail, they're still fantastic detail, but the axles let them down. Once them axles go, the loco's finished. Because I've tried to fix some, what are they, the J72 tanks. I've got 3 of them, and I've got the I've got the replacement axles and driven axles, but I've only tried one so far, and I've broken the conrods trying to get the quartering right. Yeah, they did. If they'd have designed a better system than them axles, they'd still be fetching good money today. Because they practically give them away, even if they're good running ones. Because people have this thing: if the axles are okay now, they'll not necessarily be next week. It's sad because the Royal Scots and like the J72 or whatever it was, all them split chassis with them axles. The motor was good. The actual chassis were good. It were a good chassis. Split chassis idea were good. The detailing were fantastic, and then they put them axles in. Yeah, the later idea, they've come up with a nut on it and a square axle end. Why didn't they do that in the first place? I don't know. Don't know. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you why. As Toya Wilcox once said, it's a mystery. Yeah, I think I had a collet, but I think it was by the time, what do you call it, had got hold of it, Backman. I'm pretty sure. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. Oh, God, do you watch her videos online now with her husband? She's married to a famous guitarist. But she put one up, she spent a fortune on a knockers, and she put one up, she's in a white tight top, and she's peanut smuggling and everything. She's still in good nick, and she's got over more speech impediment. Although she still does a bit. God, we used to have a lad without a speech impediment like that. Jesus, we took the piss. Kim Wilde, now you're talking. Now you're talking. Kim Wilde, oh aye. Have you ever seen that video on YouTube where Kim Wilde's on the train at Christmas and she's singing and there's only one person that joins in, and I looked and I thought, you're getting a free concert in the same railway carriage given you by Kim Wilde, and you stood around with poor faces like that. What a privilege. I'd have loved to have been there. What a privilege. And they're all stood there. Half of them was fucking noisy. I wouldn't mind. She was singing Christmas songs as well. What did? It must have been down south, because up north, up here, we'd have all been pissed singing along. Because her brother was even playing guitar for them. I don't get some now. Right miserable set of, I don't get them now. Anyway, I think I'll call it a night, gents, because I have to have a bath because I'm stinking for working morning. Check my shirt's dry for working morning. And just generally chill out. Go and get another glass of cordial. And generally chill. Yeah, nice stream. Enjoyed it again. I think I might do a bit of modelling as well as chat next time. I think I'll set a board up. Put my keyboard to the side and set them up. I might make a small modelling board for on here and get a couple of bits and pieces. And either service a local or model while we chatting. Might be an idea. Anyway. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, last week, I interviewed 9 women about what was their favourite shampoo. And they all said, how the fuck did you get in my shower? Anyway, with that, good night, people. Tatty pie. Tatty pie, everybody. I'll give a thumbs up as well. Nighty night. I'm going to cut it off in a second. Anyone who wants to know. can say night. And I'll disappear. There's 5 of us in. Well, probably 6 with me. Snapped in half. I think I'll have to check. I'm not sure. I think I still have one of the first records I brought, which was Kim Wilde, Water on Glass. And a picture on that one was beautiful. Stunning girl when she was young. I still would now, but she were absolutely stunning when she was young. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say nighty or night night. Press the button. Night.